Is on EBN TV. Our SMS line is open to 3059. The hashtag on X is Morning Live. You're in safe pair of hands. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Let me get you off started with what is making headlines across the country. Now, Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi has raised sharp concerns over the unprecedented speed at which the proposal by India's Adani Group to take over operations at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport was processed. During an appearance before the Public Debt and Privatization Committee, Mbadi questioned why the proposal, which was submitted on March 1st, received immediate clearance from the Kenya Airports Authority the very same day. This rapid turnaround has fueled suspicions of behind-the-scenes dealings.
You know, Adani submitted their proposal in March. I guess March 1st. Yes. Then KAA cleared it on 1st. And it went to the Line State Department of Transport on 1st. That, to me, is a serious high-level efficiency. Payment
was done on 8th?
Of the guys who cannot make profit. Actually, payment on 8th may not be a problem, because actually they should even submit that payment with the proposal. But that speed was too fast. I think that could be left for KAA and the line ministry, because I also engaged my team and asked, hey, this speed looked very fast. But again, you know, you can't use that unless you have any evidence to fault a government, because then what would you be telling government departments?
I think, Waziri, that one we will get KA to answer.
Please,
since you've also asked, so I think we will ask KA to come in.
Yeah, you can also tell.
That's how efficient they are. They should not be making losses, and our airport should be running
they should
well,
be making a huge profit. Yes. And you can tell them that even the CS for Finance was wondering how fast.
The Senate's inquiry into the controversial Adani Jomo Kenyatta International Airport takeover deal descended into disorder just the previous day, which was on Monday, and senators traded sharp remarks. Contention began when Kisii Senator Richard Onyonka presented new evidence that Adani Group was not the only company to have written to the Kenya Airports Authority expressing interest in JKIA. Onyonka claimed that 2 of the 3 interested companies were reportedly overlooked, with only Adani being considered. Did
you receive a letter through you, Chair, from any other company other than Adani requesting to do this project?
The answer is no, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to table, I have 3 letters which were written by 2 different companies. Adani was the 3rd one.
First letter, I'm just giving...
CS is wasting our time.
You are equally also maybe wasting my time.
There's nothing we are discussing, John.
Please, let's respect each other.
Allow the CS to...
If you ask me a question, I've come here. This is a matter of national importance, for heaven's sake. Let us be
the reason why I am reacting to you the way I am is because you've not even seen the
letter. I have not come here.
And you're busy responding. Stop gatekeeping.
I've come here.
These things you can't gatekeep anymore. Stop gatekeeping.
And please,
we must deal with this issue nationally. It's a national important issue.
Supply information. Wait for the information. If you don't need it, Kenyans need it.
Proceed.
Order, Senator Onyonka.
Kenyans need the information. And I'm giving to you.
Chair, Honorable CS, now you are heckling. You are out of order.
You are equally heckling me.
This is the tradition of ODM to echo. Chair, you can...
If the CS is tired of answering questions by the representatives of the people, let him tell us. Let him tell us. He can walk out and come back on a day that he feels his temperament is something that is befitting of a cabinet secretary of the Republic of Kenya. This is Parliament. We are not here to be nice to each other. You are saying you are giving answers to the public. Those public don't ask you those questions anymore. They ask us. We are the ones elected by the public. So, Honorable Chair, I think the CS must apologize for throwing a tantrum here. Yet we are here on serious business to be able to find answers to the questions of the public.
Sir, what is our brother? What has just happened to you? What are you saying? That they don't have to do that? That is exactly the crux of the matter of Adani. That is it, Bro John. If you don't see it, then we're wasting our time here.
So I'm also reporting to you, Honorable Onyonka. You can have your opinion. My opinion is this. I'm under oath. And I'm stating as follows. The evaluation committee did check the World Bank sites and confirmed that is the case.
This committee to get video and viral clips so that you can supply them all over. What I'm trying to say. No. Chairman, we elected you to be our chair. We want videos. That's what you do. That's what you do. Isn't that what you do? That's what you do when you're fighting Wamatangi. I'm telling you. We are not like you. Senator, it's a national matter. What agreed to be removed
from that chair. Chair, you know it's impeachment season. Please don't joke around with us.
It doesn't matter. I will stick within the standing orders. I will stick within the standing orders. Let's have Senator Mtata.
Chair, you know it's impeachment season. Please don't joke around with us.
It doesn't matter. I will stick within the standing orders. I will stick within the standing orders.
Well, that was quite the heated session at the Senate. That was on Monday before the CS appeared at Parliament on Tuesday as well, still concerning the JKIA Adani takeover deal, even as Parliament has requested, that they put on hold that particular deal first until all details have come to light. But elsewhere, President William Ruto held high-level talks with the president of the Ford Foundation, Darren Walker, in New York, 2 months after the Kenyan government accused the organization of sponsoring youth-led anti-government protests. The protests, which began on June 18th with calls for the rejection of the Finance Bill 2024, later morphed into calls for the resignation of President William Ruto. Now, Ruto blamed the protests, which was largely youth-led, to interference from foreign forces. However, following Ruto's meeting with foundations, he appeared to change tune, praising the organization for pushing for democratic governance and supporting Kenya's initiatives for global economic reforms and climate action.
We have no use for anarchy and violence and destruction of property and loss of life. Wale ambao wanasponsor hiyo violence, sisi tunawajua. And I want to call out those who are behind the anarchy in Kenya, those who are behind the sponsoring the chaos in the Republic of Kenya. Shame on them, because they are sponsoring violence against our democratic nation. Mimi nataka niulize watu wa Ford Foundation, watuambie hiyo pesa wanatoa ifanye fujo ndio wapate faida gani? We are going to call them out and we are going to tell them, if they are not interested in democracy in Kenya, if they are going to sponsor violence, if they are going to sponsor anarchy, we are going to call them out and we are going to tell them they either style up or...
Well, that is quite interesting. But to the corridors of court, Kilifi-based Pastor Ezekiel Odero has suffered a setback after the Court of Appeal declined to suspend a decision that paved the way for the deregistration of his church, New Life Prayer Center Church. Odero moved to the appellate court seeking to suspend High Court Judge Jairus Nga's decision in which he was challenging the Registrar of Societies' move to cancel the church's operating license. He sought to have this decision suspended pending a hearing and determination of an intended appeal. Court of Appeal judges Daniel Musinga, Kathurima Minoti and Mwaniki Gashoka dismissed the application, saying Odero and other church officials had not exhausted other dispute resolution mechanisms provided by the law before resorting to the courts. The Kenya International Convention Center, KICC, will not be up for sale after the High Court declared the entire Privatization Act unconstitutional. Justice Chacha Mwita said the act cannot be allowed to operate as no meaningful public participation took place before its enactment. Mwita agreed with submissions made by the ODM Orange Democratic Party that filed the case in court, saying the public was not allowed to give its views regarding the act, which made it easier to sell state enterprises to private companies. Other assets handed a lifeline are Kenya Pipeline Company, Kenya Literature Bureau, and the Kenya Seed Company, among others. Now, the notice of a motion seeking the removal of Kericho County Governor Eric Mutai has been officially submitted to the Kericho County Assembly. The motion was tabled by Sigowet Ward Representative Kiprotich Rogony, and Rogony cited 4 reasons: gross violation of the Constitution, significant violations of various national and county laws, abuse of office, and extreme misconduct. In presenting the motion, Rogony stated that the governor's actions and behavior have brought shame, mockery, and a bad reputation to the office of the governor, the assembly, and the people of Kericho.
Number H, Mr. Speaker, the acts of the governor enumerated above have collectively brought dishonor and disrepute into the office of the governor. Further, on 15th of August 2023, while addressing a press to counter the findings of the ADO Committee of the County Assembly on Londiani accident, the governor spitefully referred to the members of the said ADO Committee. That committee was led by the Honorable Moses Rotich of Tendeno. He referred to the committee as the funeral committee, and he repeated the same words, just to emphasize that indeed he did not even respect this house, Mr. Speaker. Number C, the governor has been operating with impunity as though he is above the law. On the second day of being sworn into office, the governor led a mob to invade a private land owned by one Mr. Josiah Kiblangat-Kogo within Kericho town and tore down the fence. Remember, this is the second day after swearing in, Mr. Speaker. The governor has since designated the subject land as an illegal dump site operated by the county government without the consent of the registered proprietor, the National Environment Management Authority, that is NEMA approval, gazettement by the county designating the parcel as a dump site, and in total disregard of a court order issued by Environment and Lands Court in Kericho in ELC petition number E001 of 2022. That is Josiah Kiblangat-Kogo versus County Government of Kericho. The governor has also obstructed the enforcement of the orders by the police administration. The actions are illegal, contemptuous to the authority and the dignity of the court and the rule of law, unethical and demeaning the office of the governor, the office a governor holds. Further, as a result of the illegal actions of the governor, the county was condemned to pay the costs. This is wrong, Mr. Speaker.
All right, let's briefly take a look at what is making headlines on the newspapers. Now, the Daily Nation, Ruto's Mr. Fix-It and links to Adani Group. Ruto's Mr. Fix-It and the links to Adani Group. Now, a lawyer has been accompanying President William Ruto on foreign trips. Mr. Adil Arshed Hawaja was, until recently, mostly known for his legal practice and chairmanship of the Safaricom board. His role in recent controversial multi-billion shillings deals involving Indian conglomerate Adani Group has, however, put his name on the lips of many Kenyans. But just who is this man who calls President William Ruto his long-time friend? Now, that is a story that has been covered this morning on page 7 of the Daily Nation, and he's been labeled Mr. Fix-It. And he's linked to the Adani Group. Now, Adani Group is a conglomerate. That means they are engaged in various sectors. They've got companies in the energy sector, in the transport logistics sector, in the communication sector. They've also got, a company in that deals with the housing sector. And so they are basically a group of a company which deals in various sectors. And so one of the things, obviously, is on the JKIA takeover deal, to which, they were planning on, got a deal through PIP, privately initiated proposal, that is PIP, to which they wanted to get hold of JKI or take over JKI for at least 30 years. That's a leasing agreement, to which every year they'll be giving a 6.5 billion shilling cessation fee to the government, a deal which was worth about 238 billion shillings. If you convert that, brings you to about $1.87 billion. And so that was the deal. And so Adil Arshad Hawaja, the man you see on top of the page of the Daily Nation, was until recently mostly known for his legal practice and chairmanship of the Safaricom Board of Directors. His intricate involvement in the controversial Adani Group's bid to take over key national assets has, however, put his name on the lips of majority of Kenyans. Now, the hurried and opaque manner in which state officials and well-connected individuals have pushed the proposal to lease out JKIA has elicited strong reactions from Kenyans, attracting ongoing court petitions, as well as a parliamentary committee hearing. The committee hearing is what you had CS John Mbadi for Treasury earlier on talk about how this particular proposal was rushed, basically blaming the Kenya Airports Authority for receiving this proposal in the morning, and by evening they've approved the takeover. And so after weeks of controversy regarding the JKIA proposal, it also emerged that the Adani Group was linked to a tender for provision of technology-based system for the universal health coverage over a 10 period at a cost of 104.8 billion shillings. Now, Adil was appointed as a non-executive director at Safaricom, putting him at the helm of Kenya's foremost corporate behemoth. A few weeks later, the Safaricom board appointed him the telco's chairman, replacing John Ngumi, a close ally of former President Uhuru Kenyatta. Safaricom undertakes big-ticket government projects, making it strategically one of the most important corporates in the country, whose management has direct access to State House. His appointment to the position underscored his close relationship with the incoming Kenya Kwanza administration. Since then, Adil has accompanied the president, a frequent traveler, on most of his foreign trips, putting him in a short list of the head of state's most trusted advisors. He does not deny the description of being the president's Mr. Fix-It. And so he's at the center of the Adani JKIA deal. At the same time, Ruto's son works at Adil's law firm. And so President Ruto's son, Nick Ruto, a lawyer by profession, also works at Denton's law firm. And Adil says that Nick's employment at the law firm had nothing to do with his friendship with President William Ruto. Defending President's son's employment at the law firm, arguing the company has employed similar high-profile individuals in the past. So that is the headline. Now, politically, costly fallout, the head of state and his deputy, political diversion, is it? Now, the growing rift between President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua is overshadowing the pressing crisis the country is facing and diverting attention from critical national issues. And that really has been the biggest question. Is this particular fallout a diversion from the issues that are plaguing the country? Questions continue to rise over the universal health coverage, that is through SHIF. Questions continue to emerge over the university funding model. We've got a lawyers' strike in place. You've got the welfare of teachers. You've got the welfare of public schools. You've got, there are just so many things that perhaps should require more attention rather than political fallout. And so the cost of Ruto Gachagua row has been as well headlined. And then the story at the top, which is the basis of our conversation this morning. Now, last moments of intern doctor who took on life after 36-hour shift, and that is Dr. Desiree Mora, who unfortunately allegedly committed suicide, aged 27, and this is due to pressure at work, poor state of how the working conditions where she was working. There's also poor treatment at the place where she was working, and so we'll be getting into this particular, because this is just the tipping point of various suicide cases that have been able to be highlighted. Now, let's go to the Standard newspaper this morning and take a look at what is making headline on top of the Standard. Now, where we get it all wrong with police, and that is a report by the former Chief Justice David Maraga, who says where we get it all wrong with the police. Now remember, he was at the center of pushing for reforms within the police working sector, and police have been on the spot, for lack of a better word, following various issues, including being accused of extrajudicial killings, being accused of abductions, being accused of violence, conduct on protesters. So where we get it all wrong with the police, this perhaps in hopes to be able to transform this sector and change the perspective of just how Kenyans view police officers in the country. So that is the headline on top of the Standard newspaper this morning. All right, allow us to take a quick breather, but after the break, we'll be getting into the conversation this morning. It is the National Suicide Prevention Month, as the world as well celebrates or marks this particular important month in which we are trying to raise awareness on suicide preventive measures, as well as, the suicide strategies, prevention strategies that have been put up in place by the government and the Ministry of Health in particular, to ensure that we're reporting less and less cases of this particular crisis. So that conversation returns in a bit. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly.